Welcome to the Comic Sauce Podcast, where we talk comics and comics culture. I am Henry Liu, and today I am joined by Christian Diadamo. Christian, how's it going?
Oh, it's going well, Henry. Happy Friday the 13th.
Indeed, indeed. I'm also joined by Porfirio Rangel. Porfirio, how are you?
Good, Henry. Happy to be here. Happy New Year. And yeah, happy Friday the 13th.
Yes, indeed. Today is Friday the 13th, January 13th, 2023. And yeah, it's early in the year. And you know what that means? It's time to talk about our most anticipated movies and TV shows of the year. So that will be our main topic. Catch us at Comic Sauce Pod on Instagram and Twitter. And yeah, let's just get right into it. So, first, a quick note. You know, I kind of re listened to our 2022 most anticipated episode, and a lot of the stuff we talked about didn't actually come out in the year 2022. There were a lot of delays, etc. So I think what I want to say now is a lot of the stuff that we mentioned here for the 2023 most anticipated episode probably, very possibly, at the least, will get pushed back as well. So, you know, don't quote us on this stuff. We could be wrong. We could be talking about some stuff that doesn't actually come out this year. We shall see. You know, take this all with a grain of salt, especially considering the current state of streaming these days. It's just all a big question mark, you know. So we'll see what happens. Yeah. Um, okay. So I thought we'd start with shows first. Yeah. TV shows are always kind of a moving target. Um, a lot of times stuff just drops pretty suddenly, and like we've been saying, sometimes stuff gets pushed back, etc. But as of right now, as of today, there seems to be a pretty awesome slate of TV shows to come out this year. Porfirio, you want to talk to us about some of the planned releases?
Yeah, so this year, like, it's gonna be a big year for Marvel on Disney Plus. You got
Yeah.
shows like I think the earliest one coming out. I mean, with Disney Plus, you never know. It always just kind of goes by season. But I think the earliest one that's supposed to come out is Secret Invasion, and then you have like um other shows that are slated to come out this year are Ironheart, Loki season 2, X-Men 97, Agatha, Echo, um X-Men, wait, did I already say X-Men 97?
Not yet, I think.
That one. And yeah, so those are some of the big ones coming out this year. Did I
Yeah.
miss any of you guys?
Well, you didn't mention What If, but that's a little bit in question right now.
Yeah, what
The
if?
second season of What If.
Um,
So, but that's currently it's planned. So they have a lot planned. That's for sure.
um,
Yeah. Any general thoughts about the Marvel TV slate for the year?
yeah, for me, I guess I'm really excited to see the top three on my list right now from those Marvel films are Secret Invasion, X-Men 97, and Agatha. Secret Invasion, just because, if you read the storyline in the comics, it's really creepy and exciting. And I think we've seen a small clip of it last year, and it just looks hecka like actiony. You got Samuel L. Jackson playing Nick Fury and just totally looking badass and looking to save the world. X-Men 97, if you've ever watched X-Men the animated series back in the 90s, like it's a continuation of that, and that just has a special place I feel like if you grew up in the 90s, for any nerd, so this is going to be really fun because the original cast and creators of the show come back. And Agatha, just because, I love the magical sense of the Marvel films, and Agatha was a big popular character in WandaVision, and it's heavily rumored that Wiccan is gonna make his Marvel debut. I mean, he already made his debut in WandaVision, but like a more older, mature teenager
Right.
version of him.
Yeah. Not as a
And
superhero. So we'll get to see the
yeah,
superhero Wiccan. Yeah.
yeah, so excited for that.
Nice, nice. Yeah. Any thoughts on the Marvel offerings here, Christian?
Yeah. Like Loki season 1 was, I think, of all the Disney Plus shows that came out last year, or I guess in general, as far as Marvel goes, Loki was my favorite. So I definitely will say, like, for me, that's at the top. I guess I got to admit, I never really watched X-Men growing up. Um, I know, plot twist. Like, I guess I just kind of missed the boat on it, and because X-Men was so serialized, like I think entire seasons got like serialized almost.
Mhm,
Um, I just like, it's something I catch here and there, but I never like watch from beginning to end.
mhm,
I always liked what I saw, but I guess I never kept up with it the same way I did with like Spider-Man and Batman animated series.
mhm,
So X-Men 97, I guess I'm not really sure if I'll watch. I love the idea though, that they're like bringing it back. Like, and it's something I want it to do well, so they can bring back Spider-Man from the 90s.
Here
And
we go.
Spider-Man left off on, I guess it's an ending, but you never actually get to see him find Mary Jane, who fell into the portal at the end of towards the end of the series, and quote unquote died, left into the multiverse. So like I would love to see a continuation of that. So
mhm.
I really want, like, I'm invested in this doing well. So hopefully they'll do that, you know? And I like the idea
Mhm.
of it. Um and Secret Invasion, I think, is the also one on my list. Is like one I'm really looking forward to. Secret Invasion, I think, will be a great thriller, and I'm always excited to see more Nick Fury, more Samuel L. Jackson, Nick Fury.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hell yeah. Okay, so as usual, I am looking forward to pretty much anything Marvel. So I'll be tuning in for essentially all this stuff. But yeah, the very first show you mentioned, Porfirio, Secret Invasion. This is the one for me. This is my most anticipated show of the year. I cannot wait to see this. There is a trailer out. It looks awesome. Christian, you were mentioning Nick Fury, completely on board. Give me more Fury, absolutely. And as much as we've seen of Nick Fury in the MCU, he's never been the main character, right? So finally, we'll get to see him as a main character in the show.
Mhm.
So that's awesome. There is the possibility that this is Samuel L. Jackson's swan song from the MCU, possibly. I don't know. It is possible. So there's some extra additional weight there. Um, Porfirio, you mentioned the Secret Invasion comics, great comic series. It looks like this show is very different from the comics, so might not want to set that expectation. But there's going to be scrolls in this, and from the looks of it, evil scrolls, right? Finally, evil scrolls. It's
Not the
cool that scrolls were in Captain Marvel, but they were not
playful.
villainous. They were like good guys. It just didn't seem right.
That was the
um
twist in Captain Marvel.
yeah, it was an unexpected twist, but there's a long history of scrolls doing terrible shit to the planet Earth, right?
Mhm.
So it looks like that finally is going to be seen. So man, I can't wait. And yeah, this show looks intense. It looks adult. It looks very adult. It doesn't look like it's really a show for kids. It doesn't look superhero-y much at all, which is great. You know, it looks like it takes place in the real world, a lot of realism, grittiness. Yeah, I just really can't wait for this one.
Mhm.
All right, what else we got this year in terms of shows, Porfirio?
So if you're a Star Wars fan, there is Mandalorian season 3 coming out in March. Ashoka, played by Rosario Dawson from Mandalorian season 2, and Andor season 2, I believe is supposed to drop this year. As well as what's that Star Wars TV series that you liked, Henry, that I wasn't a big fan of? Star Wars Voices?
Visions.
Visions. I believe the second season's also supposed to come out this year.
Oh, awesome. That's great to hear.
hmm
Like, I think they might also be doing Bad Batch this year.
Oh
Like, I
yeah, it's
remember
already
seeing that.
started. It already started.
Oh, it already started. Okay.
wow.
I don't watch Bad Batch, but I saw that somewhere.
So yes, there's also plenty of Star Wars stuff also.
Before we move on, man, there is so much Marvel and Star Wars TV content planned for this year. You got to wonder, like, is it all going to happen? You know, like we've been saying. I almost want them to spread it out a bit, because from what I've been hearing, you know, the new regime at Disney and the state of streaming and how the future of streaming is in question, it's almost like, well, a lot of stuff might get, you know, won't get made that was getting made before, right? So with a lack of content in the future, it's almost like, well, maybe we should hold off on some of this stuff and just spread it out a little bit. Yeah, it just seems like too much. Like all these shows, man, it's so much. It's too much, I think. So that said, you know, let's say if you could just pick a handful and maybe delay the rest, which would you want to see? Like, which of these Star Wars shows would you want to see this year the most?
I think for me right now is Ashoka, just because, you know, I became a really big fan of hers in Clone Wars, and I feel like a lot of like Star Wars fans, quote unquote, don't know who she really is because they skipped the Clone Wars and they only know like, you know, like the prequels, the sequels, and the OGs, you know, and they don't really know who Ashoka is. So I think like this is a fun, best way to introduce a character or reintroduce a character into like the generic Star Wars fans, you know, who didn't watch the Clone Wars or know much about like anything besides what's shown on film. And I think Rosario Dawson just killed it as Ashoka in Mandalorian and in Book of Boba Fett.
Right on. What about you, Christian? Any of these Star Wars shows pique your interest?
The big one I think will always be Mando. You know, like it's been tried and true. I really like seasons 1 and 2. Like, and even like in Boba Fett, Mando was the best part of it, as we were talking about on our last episode.
Right.
So, like, you can always, I feel like that's like the, you know, you can always count on that to deliver. Ahsoka is like, I think like the newcomer that it's like I am really invested in. I also did like Visions, so I'm excited to return to that as well. I hope they get Studio Trigger to come back, who did a lot of episodes on season 1. I really like their kind of like their style of animation.
Yeah, Visions was great for season 1, so I'm definitely looking forward to season 2. And Andor too. I really liked Andor season 1 a lot. So let's keep that train going. I want to see the rest of that story like ASAP. Like keep it coming. I was really invested. So
yeah.
Yeah, I think those two probably the most anticipated for me.
Yeah.
Well, that is a lot of content between Marvel and Star Wars. Is there anything else? Any other shows coming out at all?
Yeah, so there's plenty of other shows on Sunday from this Sunday, The Last of Us, based on the video game series coming out on
Yeah.
HBO Max. It has great cast. It has Pedro from Mandalorian, Gabriel Luna, who played Ghost Rider in Agents of Shield. And it's based off, yeah, like a video game series, and it's just, I guess, like just think Walking Dead, I guess.
Yeah, I think there's a reason they're having it air on Sunday, right? Right
Yeah.
after Walking Dead finished, right? I think it's not a coincidence that that happened, right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And I think this, like I since it's only coming out like in 2 days from the time of this recording, there's been a lot of great buzz about this
Yep.
TV series. So I'm very excited to see how this turns out.
Yeah, I've never played the game. I really didn't even hear about this show until very recently. But same, I've been hearing all kinds of great buzz now for this show. So I'm curious for sure.
Yeah, me too. I am really looking forward to this. I'm always rooting for good video game content, you know.
There's not a lot of it so
There's
far.
not a lot of it. You can kind of just count it on your hand, but it's
Yeah.
great when it happens.
Yes. Yes.
And like I think it seems like a very natural fit. I think The Last of Us, I never played the games either, one or two, but they are known for being very cinematic type games. And they are known for being like the greatest video game stories ever. That's always how they were sold to me, you know. Why I need to play it.
Mhm.
Okay. Any other noteworthy TV shows for the year, Porfirio?
Yeah, so this year, as much as like we're expecting like new seasons, some seasons it's going to be their last. One of them that I'm sad to see end is The Umbrella Academy. I think they're ending with season 4. I think so. Um, and so that's going to come out later in the year. I was a big fan of it since it first started, and so it's going to be a bittersweet moment for me. But I think also the Walking Dead spin-off, Fear the Walking Dead, is going to end this year also. Um, but yeah, so far those are the only shows that are on my radar that are ending this year. Do you guys know any?
Just shows that are ending,
Yeah.
shows that are on their final season that might be ending. Not off the top of my head, no.
I mean, neither.
Okay.
Basically, I did make a joke of this. The Witcher's ending. This is Henry Cavill's last season as Geralt of Rivia, and after that, he's turning it over. And it's hard to say if I'm really looking forward to that though, because he's leaving.
Uh-huh.
Kind of got to wonder what the writing is on the wall that he's seen. But other than that, I really can't really think of anything.
Oh, I think The Flash is also ending. I don't know if you guys ever watched the DC TV stuff.
Oh yeah, that is ending.
Uh,
I think I watched season 1 and then that's about it.
I think because you know how like they have like Arrowverse, that's what it's called, right? The DC.
Oh, right. Yeah.
I think since Green Arrow, is it Green Arrow or Arrow, the TV show?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The TV show is called Arrow, but it's
Okay.
about Green Arrow.
Okay, yeah, the TV show ended a while back, but they're bringing back Green Arrow for the last season of The Flash because they want to have like one of those um like multiverse storylines that they do like annually.
Mm.
So I heard that's gonna happen. Like, and every year, we have great content of TV shows that become really popular. And so, spin-offs are created. Last year we had like House of Dragons. This year we're gonna have one from The Boys. I don't know if The Boys season 4 is coming out this year, but Gen 5, a Boys spin-off, is supposed to come out this year.
Interesting. And that's a live action spin-off, not a animated series.
Not an animated, it's
Okay.
live action. So expect lots of blood and guts.
Yay.
Yep. Excellent. Okay. So I think that's a good little summation of the TV offerings. So I gave my most anticipated TV show of the year, and that's Secret Invasion. What about you guys? Christian, do you have a number one you're looking forward to here?
Let's see. Yeah, I guess I got a couple of like something I'm really looking forward to. Let's see. I feel like as far as like big new shows that are coming out, I guess yeah, The Last of Us is the big one. I'm always rooting for good video game content, so I really hope it's coming to PC soon, which I have, but I've never had a PS4, so I really hope this is good and it gets me to play the game. Um, that's the other one. Like as far as like continuations, I gotta say, like Rick and Morty was really good last year. I really like the
Mhm.
latest season of Rick and Morty. I think it was probably the best that it's been in a couple years, and so I hope it does come. It kind of continues that momentum. As far as the anime world, anime is even more of a moving target and really hard to pin down of when it's going to come back. But the big one, I think, that besides My Hero Academia is Chainsaw Man, the biggest, most popular Shonen Jump comic right now. Quote unquote. I thought season 1 was really good. That came out last year and had like a really really big buzz, and so I really hope season 2 comes out this year. But that is probably the hottest, maybe probably not going to happen thing, but fingers crossed on that.
Fingers
So
crossed.
those are my three.
Awesome.
I only watched the first episode of Chainsaw Man.
It's definitely I think it's worth sticking with, but it's also like if you kind of get the idea of what it's going to be very early on.
Uh, okay.
And
Do you-
so if it's for you, if you think it's for you, go for it. I highly recommend continuing it.
uh-huh.
But if it's not, if it doesn't seem like your cup of tea, then um it won't like probably change your mind going forward.
Do you think we're gonna have a Demon Slayer season 3 this year?
Hard to say. Because they've also been very consistent, so that is another one. As far as it, I think they actually do. That actually might be coming out. I forget what the arc is called, but I do remember they had like a little quick promotional teaser for it a
Okay.
few months ago. So I actually forgot about that. So thanks for reminding me. That's another really good one.
Speaking of anime, I think since we're saying goodbye to some, I think this year is going to be the last year Pokemon's going to have Ash and Pikachu.
Yeah. Now that he's world
Ooh.
champion,
Uh-huh.
where does he go from here?
It only
So
it only took him what, 25 years, and now he's
yeah.
finally going to grow up.
Well, hey, he's still 10. So
Uh-huh.
I think I haven't watched it since, I was a little kid, but since the gold and silver era. But yeah, I think, maybe this would be a good time to switch to a new protagonist.
Yeah, I feel like that's gonna be so weird, especially I don't know how, Henry, your kid's gonna like. That's just so weird to think, like growing up Pokemon, like not seeing Ash anymore, versus like Simon's like, he's barely getting to Pokemon, seeing Ash, and now be introduced to somebody else. Like, I just think that's just so like weird, different experiences.
Yeah. Although I can say with my son, with Simon, he's definitely more interested in the Pokemons than the trainers. So I don't think he cares about Ash that much. So probably no big deal to him.
I guess so. There was never too much to Ash other than being your audience, 10-year-old kid
Yeah.
insert.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Mhm.
You come for the Pokemon.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. How about you, Porfirio? Do you have a most anticipated show of the year?
I think, both of you guys already said, I think Secret Invasion and Last of Us, guess I'm looking forward to like the darker stuff this year. Um, yeah, like I'm just really excited to see how those two shows turn out. But one that I guess that I mean I already mentioned it, but Agatha, just because I really kind of want to, because of the rumors, see Wiccan finally appear in his like magical form. So I think out of those two, Agatha's like my top show that I'm looking forward to.
Right on. There you have it. A pretty big and awesome slate of TV shows for the year. Let's move on to movies.
Dun dun
So,
dun.
yeah, 2023. What is coming out this year in terms of movies? Porfirio?
So for movies, for Marvel, we got coming out next month, Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, aka Ant-Man Part 3. And then we have Guardians of the Galaxy 3 coming out in May. The Marvels, aka Captain Marvel 2, coming out in July. So yeah, this year for Marvel, we only have 3 films.
Only. Yeah.
I'm so spoiled.
Yeah. Marvel Studios, right?
Marvel's. Oh yeah, yeah. Because
there are some Sony Marvel movies coming
Yeah.
out this year also, right?
yeah, for this is gonna be the MCU. Because yeah, like you're right, there are other Sony Marvel Studios films, including Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. Hopefully that doesn't get delayed again.
Yep.
And Kraven the Hunter, but we haven't heard much about that one. That one's slated to come out in September, I believe. Um, there hasn't been that much talk about it, but we'll see what happens with that one.
Yeah, how about a quick take on the Marvel movie offerings this year? Yeah, any thoughts, Porfirio, on those 5?
Yeah, so I think the only one out of those that I'm really excited for is Ant-Man. Because I've just been a big Ant-Man fan since the first one. And I think with this one, with the reintroduction of Kang the Conqueror, I think it's gonna set the tone for phase 5 and 6 and the Secret Wars and Kang Dynasty storyline that were to be expected, especially since Marvel's already been vocal about Kang being the next big villain after Thanos.
Yep.
I think him having more of like a role, because we were introduced to King in Loki season 1. So I think just being reintroduced to this character, we'll know more about him and his intentions. And based off the trailers we've seen, if Ant-Man, how his film or character's role is gonna play into the multiverse saga.
Yeah, that's a good point. If you're an Ant-Man fan, like you are, Porfirio, of course you're gonna want to watch part 3. But if you aren't as into Ant-Man, watch this for Kang, because Kang's gonna be a huge component in the MCU. And yeah, there's gonna be quite a bit of Kang in this movie, and should be pretty interesting to see what they do with the character and where this all goes. Like ever since Thanos was defeated in Endgame, the MCU has kind of been scattered, right? Like there's been all these shows and movies that haven't had like any focus really. Like we had the Infinity Stones and Thanos leading up to Endgame, but since then it's been a little bit, all over the place. So hopefully Kang can bring some focus and direction to all this stuff. Yeah. So I'm super curious to see where this all goes. So yeah, I mean, admittedly, I'm not as big into Ant-Man solo movies, but I'm looking forward to this one just because of Kang, really. So I'm definitely curious, definitely. What about you, Christian? What were your thoughts on the Marvel movies for this year?
Okay, so we talk about that latest Ant-Man trailer real quick?
Yeah, sure.
There's something that that is like I'm like grabbing my chair like I want to just make a quick shout out of. It's in the trailer, so I don't think this counts as a spoiler, and the movie
Okay.
hasn't come out yet. But holy shit, fucking MODOK is gonna be in this movie.
Yes.
MODOK, finally. Oh man, one of like Marvel's like strangest villains.
Yeah.
Like I've been wondering, like I feel like it's been a while, and he has to show up eventually. But he's got such an odd design that like you always wonder how are they gonna do it? How are they gonna put MODOK in?
Yep.
He's like this like the giant floating like weird man thing, and so like I think with the quick like amount that we saw, I'm like, fuck yeah, MODOK,
Yeah.
MODOK.
Good call. And it's like a comics accurate MODOK too.
Mhm.
They didn't like adapt them too much. It's pretty much straight out of the pages of the comics.
Like,
With the creepy ass face.
Yeah, that
Mhm.
big creepy face.
like I really, yeah. So I hope we get a good amount of them. I hope we see him later. And my theory is that he'll be like Kang will appear as a good guy trying to help Ant-Man. That's kind of the vibe you get from the trailer. But we know it's Kang. He's going to betray him and all that. But I feel like MODOK is going to be like the fake out villain of the movie, probably for the first
Mm,
act 1 and 2, that Ant-Man has to defeat in order to escape. Kang is like going to push him to defeat him, probably help him out a bit, and then aha, I tricked you,
I could
something
see
like
that.
that.
I could see
So
that. Yeah.
I
Do you
think
know?
with that, oh yeah, go for it.
No, I was gonna say, do you know? I don't know if this is true or not because I didn't like fact check or anything. But do you know who MODOK's being played by?
Is it Patton Oswalt?
No, not like the TV show. I wish. Um, it's kind of. I feel like it's a little bit of a spoiler. I don't know. Do you guys want me to tell you or?
I'd like to hear it. Maybe we'll give a spoiler alert. If you don't want to hear who the voice actor is for MODOK, like tune out for the next minute or so. But yeah, fire away.
I heard. I didn't double check, and I feel like I should double check right now. But it's supposed to be the guy who plays Yellow Jacket from the first Ant-Man movie.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay. Huh. It's interesting that they're bringing him back,
Uh huh.
if it's true.
Yeah, yeah,
See,
yeah. We'll see.
but yeah, do hope we get some good MODOK in this movie.
Yeah,
MODOK in the future,
yeah.
maybe in another Avengers movie.
And it seems like they're inserting MODOK in a pretty smart way because MODOK is such a weird out there villain that if you were just to place him in something with a little more realism, like we've been talking about, like Secret Invasion or something, it would be strange and bizarre and just too weird.
Mhm.
But if they're putting him in some weird like quantum realm shit, then that makes sense, right? Why not have like a giant head with tiny arms and legs in the quantum realm? There's all kinds of weird shit there, right? So I think it can work. I think it will work.
Mhm.
Okay, my quick take on Marvel movies. You mentioned Craven the Hunter.
Mhm.
Big question
Oh,
mark
no.
if this will actually come out this year. If it does, it'll probably suck. So who knows? It's non-Spider-Man Sony Marvel, and we all know how that goes, right? So that barely counts as a Marvel movie. But of course, the MCU stuff, yeah, I'm in. Take my money, all that stuff. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. I don't think we should gloss over that because I cannot wait for that movie. A lot of people cannot wait. I think this is like the number one most anticipated movie of the year for a lot of people, and it's should be a pretty emotional send off for this Guardians team. So yeah, watch out for this one. This
You,
should be good.
Henry, I hate to like spoil your buzz, but this is like for me, I think like the least anticipated for me of the Marvel films.
I mean, I know you're not as hot on the Guardians.
I just no, I mean like I don't know. I just think there's just so much behind the scenes drama between James Gunn and Disney that I just feel like kind of just spoils like the Guardians film for me
The
at the
Okay.
heart
end.
won't be there, you know.
Yeah.
What I have to say to that is go ahead, keep your expectations low. And then I
And
can't wait for you to be crying in your movie seat come May. You're like, give me some tissues. Like
uh-huh.
that's what I'm like expecting. I'm expecting it to be very touching
Yeah.
and emotional. So just keep your expectations low. That's fine.
I'll keep and then if I'm wrong, I'm wrong, and I could be like Henry, I owe you a big apology.
There you go. There you go. That all said, Guardians is not my most anticipated movie of the year. My most anticipated movie of the year is the same movie as my most anticipated movie of 2022, which is Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. Been waiting forever for this one. I think the hype train is losing some steam here because like the merch has already come and gone from like Target and stuff, and I'm still waiting for this movie to come out. Hopefully won't get delayed anymore. We talked about like the production team behind this movie. It's very different from the first movie, so there's definitely a possibility it's not going to be as good as Into the Spider-Verse. Into the Spider-Verse was very special. It was kind of a lightning in a bottle kind of thing. So, there's a possibility that a big possibility, a likely possibility that it will be inferior to that movie. But come on, it's Miles Morales.
Mhm.
It's the continuation of that phenomenal story. And I still cannot wait for this. So yeah, it's my top anticipated movie of the year, not just Marvel, just any movie. So that's the one for me.
Are you looking like do you have any predictions to which Spider people we might see or not?
Yeah, it's funny. You asked me the same question like a year ago.
I did. Wow.
Yeah, and
Uh-huh.
I don't think anything has really come to light in terms of like spider people. Oh wait, no, I should take that back because the latest trailer we do get to see like a shit ton of spider people, and I did not like freeze frame it and look who's in there. I didn't watch any analysis videos, so I'm looking to kind of stay fresh. Maybe we could talk a little bit about like what do we know. We do know that Spider-Woman is in there along with Miles, Gwen, and Spider-Man 2099. Yeah, I think there's some speculation about the Japanese Spider-Man being in there.
I think Spider-Punk's in there.
Oh, Spider-Punk.
Okay.
Yeah, Spider-Punk is in there. Yeah.
Scarlet Spider gonna be in there? Was he in there at all?
Ooh.
Or
I don't
I don't know.
Again,
It's been a
yeah.
while since I saw the trailer, so
know.
Yeah, that's definitely, there's speculation on that. But now that the trailer's dropped, a quick visit to YouTube, you can probably get a lot of these
Mhm.
questions answers.
yeah, just go right to the comments and see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you-
I kind of don't want to know, but yeah, go ahead, Porfirio.
I was gonna tell Christian because Christian was alluding to this earlier. I heard that there's gonna be Spider-Man the animated series in there.
Oh yeah, that'll be cool. Like, I
Uh-huh.
hope that gets a lot of buzz. And like I said, we can get that continuation, or maybe they'll do something like they did with No Way Home, and that'll be the continuation.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
That'd be like pretty trippy if like cause do you remember how the animated series ends?
Yeah, with like him and Madam Web going off to find Mary Jane.
Yeah, like what if like that like is entered into this movie? Like he enters the multiverse and like is like introduced to like all the Spider people and everything.
I really hope so. I really do want to see. You finish the series as a kid, and you're like, wait, there's no more. Well, I want to see what's next.
Yeah.
And it's all like, even though it is kind of the end, you always hope for like more, you know? And so with like anything's kind of possible now, and I know that seems like such a niche thing to want to like see continue in a way because
Mhm.
it's so specific, but I think that would be really cool. If we can get animated Spider-Man or
Yeah.
90s Spider-Man and Madam Web.
Mhm.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Hmm.
I think there's been some chatter about like live action characters showing up, like a la Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers or Who Framed Roger Rabbit kind of thing, animation
Mm,
meets live action.
mhm.
Um, yeah, what do you guys think about that? The possibility of, I don't know, like a Andrew Garfield, Tom Holland, or Tobey Maguire appearing, that sort of thing.
I'd be okay with it. Yeah, if it was like one of the spider people, like Tom, Toby, Andrew, I think it'll be fun to, because we just had No Way Home come out a few years ago, so to kind of like continue off that like good energy, good mojo, I think it'd be fun.
Hmm. I gotta be down for it. It might be hard to like fully translate unless they really come back. Like I don't know how they do it with live action and how it would look,
Yeah. Yeah, it
but
seems
it's like
like
sure, why not? I'm down.
yeah, I mean, the first Spider-Verse movie was so bonkers that they might actually do something like that, but I don't know, it seems a little too insane. Uh yeah, and I don't know, I kind of like the idea of keeping the MCU separate from these Spider-Verse movies. Um but who knows? Yeah, like I said, they might be pulling some pretty crazy stuff.
Mhm.
We'll see. Yeah, and that kind of goes back to what I was talking about. Like that first movie was so bonkers, and a big reason why I loved it so much. They just ran with shit, and it worked so well. So um, the last thing I would want to see is for them to play it safe. I'd like to see this movie continue with that mo. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay, so what else other than Marvel movies are we looking at in terms of movies?
So, we got some questionable DC films coming out this year. I say questionable because basically three of these films were supposed to come out last year. They're coming out this year. Um,
Yeah.
but we have some DC films, Shazam 2, um, Blue Beetle, The Flash, Aquaman 2. Um, those are all supposed to come out this year. Um, but again, questionable because the whole recent DC shakeup with James Gunn, and plus, like, yeah, three of these four films were supposed to come out last year, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah. Big question marks, especially with the Flash. That has a lot of controversy
Hmm.
surrounding it. So in addition to all this like crazy the business aspect of Warner Brothers going on, there's also the Ezra Miller controversy. So a huge question mark with all of these movies, particularly The
Hmm.
Flash.
Hmm.
I know it's hard to have hype for these anymore. You
Yeah.
know, like I think with like the controversies, and I think James Gunn just completely giving the axe to like this version of the DC universe. You just have to think like, what's the point? It's like just the have them come out on streaming in a way, just so you can just kind of see it and move on. Like it's
Hmm.
hard to really build up hype, even though like I think of the Flash, like I was looking forward to this movie for a while, going back probably to last year when I probably even mentioned it on last year's podcast for stuff pre Ezra Miller.
Hmm.
Yep.
but because it was supposed to have like Michael Keaton, it was supposed to have cameos from like the Snyderverse Justice League. It was like
Right.
supposed to be this really big like
Reboot.
like yeah, reboot, Flashpoint, like sort of like a big, in a way, the universe reset button, as well as like the Flash moving from universe to universe, similar
Yeah.
to Spider Verse. You know,
Yep. Like a multiverse situation,
yeah, it was
right?
like a big
Yeah.
multiverse type movie that
Yep.
was supposed to bring in all these actors, all these characters, and like in a way, like that was like the swan song of the universe. But I think with everything now and the fact that it's just kind of been delayed so many times because of these controversies, it's like, it's hard to build up. It's hard to really have any hype for this anymore. You know,
Yeah.
it's like the waiting has just kind of killed it in a way, as you know, on top of other things. I guess same with Aquaman, you know, like
Yeah.
controversies, delaying,
Hmm.
reshoots.
Yep.
This
Hmm.
movie probably has changed quite a bit. And like, I guess like you know, I guess even Shazam, even though there's no real controversy or not a lot of waiting, but I think because it's kind of part of that universe that got the axe. I really like the first Shazam. I think that's one of the best DC EU movies as part of the Snyderverse. But even now, it's like,
Who
I
cares?
I'm excited to see what they do in 2024 and 2025.
Yeah.
I have a feeling Blue Beetle is going to completely get the axe, which sounds hard to say. I really like. I'm going to butcher the
Zola.
name, but yeah, Cholo Manduela,
Uh-huh.
from
Cobra Kai.
Miguel from Cobra Kai, and I really
Uh-huh.
wanted to see him as like the leading man in a big superhero movie. But who knows if Blue Beetle's coming out?
Yeah. A lot of question marks.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. I was thinking with Gunn taking over the DC stuff, and what have we seen already? We've seen him essentially axe Wonder Woman 3. We've seen him essentially let Henry Cavill go from the Superman role. Like it really seems like he's going for an out with the old, in with the new type thing, right? So I really question what's going to happen with the Flash and Aquaman, because that really is like the old DCEU stuff, Justice
Hmm.
League, all that stuff. So, with these latest moves, it seems like with the new folks in charge, they would rather not have this stuff come out, right? So yeah, if I were a betting man, I don't think I would expect to see either the Flash or Aquaman 2 come out this year, even though they were supposed to come out last year. you know, I think it's in, a bigger question mark. Right now, it's a bigger question mark with both those movies this year than last. So, we'll ultimately we'll see, but um, yeah, we're talking about anticipated movies, and it's hard to get too psyched about a movie if we don't know if it's actually going to come out or not, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so hard to get
Hmm.
too psyched about any of that stuff. All right, what else we got, Porfirio?
So I know part one thing we do in this podcast is we also talk about horror films, even though that's not Christian's favorite movies. But there are some great horror films coming out this year. We just had Megan come out earlier this year, which is produced by Wan, who directed Aquaman and the Insidious and Conjuring series, which
Hmm.
are other two films that are coming out this year. We get Insidious 5 and The Nun Part 2. So
Wow,
those are some good horror movies to keep an eye out for.
Hmm.
cool.
Oh, actually, I also got a horror film coming out this year that I'm kind of excited for. The new
Which one?
Evil Dead movie.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Hmm.
Um, Fear the so like I'm not a horror person, but I do love the Evil Dead. I never saw the remake. I'm actually not. sure where this new one is going to fall in terms of like where the Evil Dead chronology.
Mhm.
But I did actually watch Ash versus the Evil Dead, which is a really fun series, I think, on Netflix. And so I was kind of like, I really want to see more Bruce Campbell in
Is
the
he gonna
role.
be in it?
I don't know. That's the thing. If he's not in it, I'm not gonna watch it. But if he is, I'll be there.
There we
Uh-huh.
go.
Also, you got to see if Sam Raimi is
Yeah, is
in
he
it as
involved?
well.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Those are the two guys who need to be there. Evil Dead Rise. That's what it's called.
Right on.
Yeah. Let's see. Oh, as far as other, I guess, did you have any more horror movies?
Um, no. Yeah, I mean, out of those ones, so like I said, Megan, since it already came out, I watched it recently and I enjoyed it a lot. I recommend it to both of you. Christian, you'd actually not get scared from it. It's not like a shock, like jump scare kind of movie, but I feel like you'd enjoy it. So I do recommend it to watch it. Um, but yeah, do you have any horror movies, Henry, that you're looking forward to, or any comments before I talk about other films?
No horror movies to comment on. Thanks for the info on your picks. But yeah, as usual, I'm going off of you with new horror stuff. What else you got?
So we have like other fandom movies coming out this year. We have a Dungeons and Dragons film coming out. Um, Christian, I know this was one of your picks last year. It's the Super Mario's film. Um,
Yep.
there's gonna be Dune 2 coming out later
Right.
this year, and the Hunger Games prequel film.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, just heard about that. Yeah, those are good call outs. The one I feel like we shouldn't gloss over is Dune 2, because Dune 1 was so good that yeah, I am really looking forward to checking out the second part.
Yeah, me too. I'd love Dune, and I like
Great.
anything Denis Villeneuve touches, I think is gold.
Pretty much, yeah. Yeah.
Like
Is
I love all of his movies, and so I'm really excited to see what he does with part two. And they
Yeah.
just
is
added Christopher Walken, so
Oh, is that right?
yeah.
Oh, nice. Can't go
is
wrong.
is Dune 2 supposed to be like the final one, or are they gonna make another one?
It's hard to say, because it's gonna cover, I think, the last half of the first book,
Okay.
supposedly. I haven't seen it, but Dune
Uh,
is also a series as many
yeah.
books.
hmm
So it's hard to see how far they go with it because the later books do. I haven't read it, but I heard it gets really weird. Excuse me, really weird do after a certain point.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm checking out the cast list here. Yeah, really cool that Christopher Walken's in there. A lot of part one cast is in there too, but also someone who's becoming one of my favorite actresses, Florence Pugh, is in Dune part two as
Oh,
well.
she is.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So even more reason to check this out. Quick mention, I'm a big action movie fan. A couple big action movie releases coming out this year. John Wick Part 4 and Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1. These are two movies I'm very much looking forward to, very much so.
Yeah, me too. John Wick really has like some of the best action sequences, I think,
Yeah.
in movies. And you do got to hand it to Tom Cruise for what he does with a lot of the stunts. I think Top Gun Maverick last last year was I think what like the massive box office smash because
Yeah.
um Tom Cruise was very big on a lot of practical effects. When the movie premiered and when you saw it in theaters, he actually comes out at the beginning and says like, "Hey, what you're seeing here is you're seeing uh, people in pilots. This is real speed, real pilots, real
Mm-hmm.
G's."
Mm-hmm.
And it does really show in the film. And like, I think watching the stuntmen work, watching these practical effects is something that like you see is like sorely missed. I think that's one of the reasons why it did so well, and I think one of the reasons why a lot of people are going to flock to Mission Impossible and John Wick.
There
Yeah.
you go. Yeah, for sure. Good call.
So I think those are going to be. I am really looking forward to those two as well. I think those are going to be like top tier action flicks.
Mm-hmm.
Excellent. What else you got, Porfirio?
Just a few more other ones. So I guess like some guilty pleasure films that I'm looking forward to are one of them is Disney's The Little Mermaid.
Oh yeah.
I'm really looking forward to seeing Ariel. I mean, like, not to say this, but like a black Ariel. Like,
Yeah.
the uproar behind that and the backlash. I'm just like,
Yep.
screw the haters. Let's just
Yeah.
watch
Screw
this.
the haters.
I'm not like the biggest Ariel fan because I think she's such an idiot for trading her voice for a guy, and I'm like, you dumbass. But Ariel is not my favorite Disney princess, but I am looking forward to just sticking it to the haters and just being like, like I feel like we talk about this all the time in the Marvel films. Like there's always like gender or race swapping, and you get people who get upset and are like, that's not like the source material. And
Yep.
sometimes it's better than the source material. Now, like the primest example I could think of right now is Neymar,
Yeah.
giving him like indigenous, like Mesoamerican background, just like was just super awesome. So yeah, like that I'm here for like more diversity within these films. So I'm looking forward to that one.
Yeah, real quick on Little Mermaid. Like I could not care less about this movie,
Uh,
but that said, I would love to see it succeed just
hmm
so the toxic fanboys can shut the hell up, right?
hmm
That would be nice. So
Mhm.
that's my
Same
take
here.
there, right? Right? Yeah.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
And the other one that I am like, it's you'll be guys surprised for me that I'm excited to kind of see is the Barbie film.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, dude, I had Barbie on my list too, actually.
You got like, yeah, you got Margaret Robbie on there. You got Sumi Liu, Ryan Gosling. Um,
Yep.
it's gonna be a fun film, and the only thing I'm disappointed about is that they're not gonna have the Barbie song.
Oh,
Oh, they
that's
can't have
right.
Barbie.
But other than that, like like Simu Liu, like I haven't seen him anything outside of Shang-Chi, and I haven't seen the TV show that he's in, what's it called? Superstore?
Oh,
Or
Kim's Convenience, I think it's called.
yeah, yeah, Kim's Convenience. But so I'm happy to see him like kind of do other stuff besides Marvel.
Mhm.
Right on.
And I think one thing that's like that really got me interested in Barbie, because I was like I never played with Barbies growing up, but it's kind of like there's two people behind it that like it seems very out there that like intrigues it, and then it's director Greta Gerwig and writer Noah Baumbach
Uh-huh.
who work
Oh
together a
yeah.
lot.
Right.
Who did Lady Bird, great film,
Mm.
and they also worked on other things, Francis Ha and things like that, like very like slice of life, dramatic movies, usually rated R,
Yep. Yeah.
and
Very,
like
very indie too.
very
And
indie.
yeah. Mhm.
Like, and so this scene that it's like it's both of them on this movie, and it's kind of both of them on working on a lot of the movie, like a lot of their projects together, which it makes it very like seems like a strange pick, but also like that you're like, okay, let's see what they're doing. This is gonna be great. Like I like I'm I'm not gonna go see it in the theater, but I will watch this in streaming, and I kind of hope I hope it's great.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, a little bit more of a curiosity for me, but it does seem interesting. Yeah, I am curious for sure.
Like I've heard I'm not really sure what this is rated, but I heard this might be rated R.
What?
I heard it.
Really?
I doubt it. I don't know if it has a rating yet.
I was gonna say, like,
It
there's
doesn't.
gonna be there's gonna be so many little girls who are gonna want to watch this
Yeah,
film.
like
Yeah.
it seems like something that'd be rated PG because that's
Mhm.
the audience. But at the same time, like, makes you wonder. Like they have the trailer, and the trailer is definitely very strange.
Mhm.
Where there's like a 2001 Space Odyssey like
Mhm.
reference
Yep. Yep.
throughout
Yep.
the whole thing, where like the little girls are breaking the dolls, and it's the dawn of time. It seems very out there.
Yeah.
So yeah, very very big curiosity of this year.
Yeah.
Definitely.
But maybe the movie will come back and at the end of the year and be like, this was the best.
Yeah, that's always fun at the end of the year, kind of revisiting what we had anticipated and seeing how we did, right?
Yeah.
What else we got, Porfirio? Any other movies to mention?
That's it on my list. Do you guys have any other films that you guys want to talk about? I know, yeah, Christian, I think you talked about these a little bit, but the Dungeons and Dragons film and the Super Mario film coming out this year.
Yeah. Like I am very, very hyped for Mario. Like I grew up playing a lot of Mario. Um, and I love Mario. Mario's always been one of my favorite characters. And I even watched the one from the 90s, like growing up. That's how much like I loved Mario, was that I watched the Mario Brothers movie a few times, and that movie is awful and really strange. So like the movie already looks like worlds better because it looks like it has characters from the game. It looks like
Mhm.
it looks like the video game, and
Yeah.
it's kind of the movie. It's like, oh, I've wanted this. I guess this is the movie I wanted since I was a little kid. And so I hope it's great. Like Nintendo seems to have a very big hand in it. Um, whereas with the last one, they were like very, very hands off and just kind of let the directors do their thing. I'm not the big like Illumination. I actually don't think I've seen anything from Illumination.
You
So I
never
guess I
seen
can't.
like Minions or Secret Life of Pets or
Nah, none of it never really appealed to me growing up. I never actually watched Despicable Me, and I think Minions were kind of everywhere. So I just kind of, it's always like kind of the thing I tuned out
Okay.
growing up. And
Mhm.
then like some of their other stuff, Sing, Secret Life of Pets, nah, it just never really seemed to appeal to me.
Okay.
But Super Mario, yeah, I'm hyped for. I think I also think the casting is generally great. Mario, Chris Pratt is something I'll just wait and see it. It's not, I don't think it's as terrible as I think as everyone's is saying so far, but it kind of stands out. But on the other hand, everybody else I think is perfect. Jack Black is Bowser, Charlie Day is Luigi, so on and so forth. And so that I think might be my most anticipated movie of the year, besides Dune Part 2.
Nice.
Dungeons and Dragons also looks like a lot of fun. I think that'll be the fun big fantasy movie of the year.
Mhm.
I do love me some good D&D every so often. I'm not
Mhm.
really Wizards is gonna at this point in time is going through a very major controversy. So it kind of kills a bit of the hype right there. So we don't have to get into that. That's a whole can of worms right there with Dungeons and Dragons. But I think this film is made largely independently. So I hope it's good. I hope it's better than the last Dungeons and Dragons film from like 20 years ago, which was also terrible. Just like Mario, I guess, weirdly enough. Um, I've got I don't know if you guys have anything else you want to say on this. I guess I have one more movie that I was kind of looking forward to that we haven't been
Go for it.
mentioned yet.
Go for it.
So the movie's called 65.
Oh, the the Adam Driver movie.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So it mostly because it reminds me of another video game which is called
Oh,
Turok.
yeah. That's what I
Mm.
was thinking when I first
It's the
saw
Turok movie.
Yeah.
Adam Driver has a gun. It's in the future, and he shoots dinosaurs. I think he might go back in time.
hmm
So I think that just also sounds like a lot of fun right there, and also like a very wild premise.
hmm No, yeah, I remember watching that trailer and I was just like, this is Turok. Like,
Mhm. Really like
Did-
Adam Driver. I think that'll be a lot of fun. So
did you ever play that game, Henry?
Just a little bit. I'm definitely familiar with it. Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, that movie's got some potential. All right. Yeah, I'll throw some out here. Just kind of get your guys' take, because I know there are some other pretty anticipated movies we haven't mentioned yet. But one is there's going to be a new Indiana Jones movie. Definitely a
Mm.
fandom movie. Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. And Harrison Ford is back. And I guess we're going to see him de-aged quite a bit in this movie. I guess we should note that Steven Spielberg did not direct this movie. It's directed by James Mangold. So yeah, curious, what do you guys think about this?
You know, like I love archaeology and everything, but I would just never gone to the Indiana Jones films.
Mm.
Um, and so I'm just like whatever about this film. To me, oh my gosh, you guys are gonna be really annoyed. But the first Indiana Jones film that I watched was Kingdom of the Crystal Skull.
Oh, see, that there's your problem right away.
Uh-huh.
You can't start with that one.
But it's so funny because I think last time I went to Disneyland, which was in November, there were signs outside the Indiana Jones ride saying that they were gonna close for construction, I believe, either at the end of January or the beginning of February, and they were gonna reopen, I believe, in April. And I think
Mhm.
the film comes out in May, right?
It has a June release, June 30th listed
Okay.
here. So that checks out. They're
Yeah.
clearly hyping up the movie. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
They're gonna reskin the ride and all that stuff, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, as much as I love the original trilogy, I couldn't care less about this one. Like, it's just it feels like a cash grab and unnecessary. So, it
Mhm.
is what it is, I suppose. That's kind of how I feel about it.
Yeah,
Oh yes,
same.
same. Yeah, same. Okay.
I guess
There
that's
you
all I have
go.
to say.
I'll just list these out real quick.
Mhm.
There's a new Christopher Nolan movie coming out, Oppenheimer. Yeah,
Who's go
whenever
ahead.
there's a new Nolan movie, I think it's noteworthy, right?
Yep.
I thought his last one was pretty bad.
Yes.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
historically he's done great work. So this one seems pretty interesting.
Who's in it and what's it about? Do you know?
It is about the American scientist Robert Oppenheimer. He's played by Cillian Murphy, who's been in a lot of Nolan stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's a biopic essentially.
Okay.
So could be good. It seems good. Yeah, the trailer's out, and yeah, it seems like it might be a return to form here.
Okay.
Yeah. There's a new Willy Wonka movie coming out this year called Wonka, starring Timothy Chalamet, and it's a prequel to the original Willy Wonka movie. So,
Mhm.
I mean, this has got a lot of red flags here for me, but yeah, I don't know how beloved the original movie is to you guys, but I know this was definitely listed as like a big anticipated movie of the year for a lot of folks. And any thoughts on Wonka or the Willy Wonka films at all?
I do like the original, like the Gene Hackman one.
Yeah.
I think a lot of that comes down to like kind of the weirdness, how it was made. It's kind of like this lightning in a bottle, timeless classic. A lot of that comes down. A lot of it is with Gene Hackman's like pretty out there performance
Yeah.
as
Yeah.
Willy Wonka. Um, so I never cared for the Tim Burton remake. So this one is a bit of an eyebrow raise, you
Yeah.
know. But I actually did read the book as a kid, and I liked the book. I have the sequel, which they never adapted.
Mm,
Charlie and the Great Glass Elevator. Never read it, so I have no idea if it's worth a movie or not.
mhm.
But it's like, oh, they never adapted that, but they're doing a prequel, which seems a little strange.
Yeah. The original book was great. The original movie is like an all-time classic. To me, so beloved that I refuse to watch that Johnny Depp one. And I probably will refuse to watch this one too. But yeah, it smells of like a big problem, right? Because they're getting this actor who's really hot right now, and it's a prequel, and it's just like, oh man, it doesn't it doesn't feel right. You know,
Yeah.
I'd love to be proven wrong, I suppose, but I don't know. It doesn't. This one's not smelling too great to me right now.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm. Mhm.
You guys into Transformers movies at all? There's a new live action Transformers
Oh
movie.
yeah, Beast Wars is gonna
Beast,
Yeah,
be the
yeah.
one. The one people have been
Transformers
asking for
Rise of the
forever.
Beasts. Yeah, I mean, could care less about live action Transformers, but I don't know. What do you guys think about this one?
I kind of stopped caring about them after Shia LaBeouf left.
Mm-hmm.
I remember, I think just because they were coming out when I was like a stupid teenager who just was like action, explosive. So I was like all about it. But now I'm just like, this movie's actually kind of suck. Like,
Mhm.
like, oh my gosh, the last one was the last night or something like that with
Yep.
Anthony Hopkins. I totally fell asleep in theaters with that one. So I'm just like, I really don't care for this. Bumblebee was actually pretty good, but yeah, I don't care for this one.
Yeah, I stopped. I think the first Mark Wahlberg one for me was so bad. I don't even remember the
Mm.
name of it, but it's the
Age of
fourth one.
Extinction.
Yeah, it was so bad. I was like, I'm done. And I haven't seen a Transformers movie since.
So safe to say we won't be tuning in to this one. All right. Any other noteworthy movies we want to call out here before we wrap things up?
Um, oh yeah, one more. I don't know if you guys are in, but Creed 3,
Oh
um,
yeah,
featuring the actor who plays Kang the Conqueror.
Mm,
that's right.
mhm.
Really big. I like the first two Creeds. I wouldn't say I'm like hyped for this coming up, but I think Michael B. Jordan is directing. I have to
Mm.
I have to quickly verify that, but I, yes, he is directing. It is written by um oh by Ryan Coogler as well. Great writer, great director, as we've talked about in our Black Panther Wakanda Forever. Also, it's like everything Ryan Coogler has done, I've always really liked. He's not directing. I think he directed the first two. So
Okay.
I don't think this one has Sylvester Stallone in it,
Yeah, I don't
but
think so. Hmm.
this is another one I think I'm looking forward to. Not like hyped for though.
Okay.
And if you ever wanted to know who would win in a fight, Killmonger or Kang the Conqueror, you can find out the answer in this one. Right?
This is the hype generator right here.
Yes, yes. All right. Any other picks to call out on your end, Porfirio? Good?
That's it. Yeah, I'm good.
All right. So, movie of the year, most anticipated movie of the year. I listed mine, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. What about you guys?
Super Mario, and Dune 2, and Dune Part 2. Yeah, those are the two.
There we
Those are the
go.
two. The adult me says Dune Part 2. The child me says Super Mario.
There you go. So I would imagine that if it's done correctly and it's everything you hope for, Super Mario Brothers could really kind of bring back some great childhood memories for you. Yeah, Christian. There you
Watch,
go.
Christian, this is gonna be the opening of the Super Mario Brawl universe.
Yeah,
You know,
this is
we
we'll get Zelda that later. We'll
Ooh.
get Kirby. We
Uh-huh.
already have Detective Pikachu, and then the
We-
big crossover with Super Smash Brothers
you
Ah.
at
you
the
already
end
have
of Phase 1.
you already have Sonic.
Yeah, that's right. You already have Sonic
Oh,
in there.
yeah.
You
Uh-huh.
can make some cameos. You can have a Mario v Sonic movie because they're
Yeah.
rivals.
There we
Yeah.
go.
See,
There
look
we
at-
go.
Ooh, now there's a lot more weight on this. I mean, this movie could be kind of like the Iron Man one for Nintendo, right? Like if this hits, it could open the door to like all this other stuff, right?
Mhm.
Always wanted a Metroid movie.
Oh yeah,
I think Metroid would make a really cool movie.
Who you
definitely.
think would be cool to play Samus?
Let's see. It's hard to really say if it's live action. Like, let's see. Because Samus, like, she's usually very silent. She doesn't say anything. Really stoic, really strong. But I actually think like Brie Larson could actually be a really good Samus.
Yeah, yeah. Mhm.
I think she could do the stoic, cool bounty hunter well.
I was either thinking Brie Larson or that actress from The Queen's Gambit.
Oh, Anya Taylor-Joy.
Yeah. Mhm.
Well, she's already Princess Peach.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
That's
Nice.
true, you're right.
But she could actually do it. She is great in everything. So I think Anya Taylor-Joy could be a really good Samus.
Yeah.
Good call. What about you, Porfirio? What's your most anticipated movie?
You know, I don't think I said it earlier, but I think my most anticipated is Blue Beetle.
Ah, nice.
If
Yeah.
it comes out.
If it comes
If it comes out, I know, like, I swear, yeah, like ever since this whole like canceling of stuff, that's been one movie I'm just like, fuck, what's gonna happen? But you know, like similar to Neymar, I'm just excited to see like a Latino led like superhero with Zolo being Blue Beetle. I'm already stockpiling on my Blue Beetle comics.
Uh-huh.
So you know his costume, I've seen his costume, he looks fucking great in it. And I'm just like crossing my fingers and just being like, DC, do not fuck this up. Do not fuck this up. So
Yeah.
that's the movie I'm looking forward to this year.
Nice.
nice.
Yeah, man, I finished the latest season of Cobra Kai not that long ago. And yeah, I mentioned to you guys before, but yeah, it's the show is as ridiculous as ever, but also as entertaining as ever. And this kid Zolo, he's a big part of it, man. He is so likable on that show. Like you just
Mhm.
want to cheer for him every moment he's on screen. He has like this great charisma, and if he could bring some of that to this Blue Beetle role, man, it could be pretty awesome for sure.
Mhm.
All right. With that, we can wrap up the episode. This is Farewell from Henry, Christian, and Porfirio.